I guess like normally rude. Wow. You know what? Cut the camera.
Damn.
I think a lot of times it starts off with like how long you've been training, you know?
Actually, yeah. How long have you been training, actually?
I picked it up late COVID.
Okay, so like end of
4 years.
End of 2020 then, or 21?
Yeah, end of 2020, early 2021. You know, you don't take it serious for your first few years.
Did you come to this gym first, or did you go somewhere else?
I went to Turlock Guerilla.
Okay, me too, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Coach Alex?
Uh-huh.
How long were you there?
So I actually joined Coach Alex January of 2024, and I was...
What?
Uh-huh. And I was there until May of 2024, whenever Mike and Johan were at an open mat. They're like, hey, like, come get MMA rounds on the weekends. And I did. And they're, hey, like, come check out class. And that's when I came and joined here, like, late May of 2024.
And that was your first jiu-jitsu?
My first jiu-jitsu class, yeah. It was at Guerilla in Turlock in January.
I would never expect you were 2 years in. I've been doing it twice as long as him, and he can manhandle the hell
Actually,
out.
January will make 2 years.
Rodeo background.
Riding bulls and bucking horses. I got retard strength.
Yeah. I just can't buck them off no matter how hard I try. What kept you doing jiu-jitsu? Why'd you stay?
I've always been a huge fan of MMA as it is. And like growing up, I always loved the UFC. So I always wanted to get into that aspect of it. And if you're going to be doing MMA, you need to learn jiu-jitsu if you want to be any good at it. And then after Mike and Johan invited me over for a class, I really loved how Mike taught classes, and I liked how everyone was here and how nice everyone was. So
I didn't. I thought his classes sucked. They were the worst. See, it's not that I don't like UFC, but it's just I don't follow it.
Right.
You know, I think it's cool and all that, but when people are like, oh, did you see this fight? I'm just like, no.
I've always been like an adrenaline junkie as a kid. Like anything that gets me going, it's like, yeah, let's do it. Riding bulls, bucking horses, and fighting. I always got to be doing something.
So like I like adrenaline stuff, but I will not make myself do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll like I have to really be pushed into it.
Mm-hmm.
So like skateboarding, I was kind of like forced to do it.
I could never skateboard.
Mountain climb or like rock climbing, forced to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Surfing recently.
Oh, I suck at surfing.
Oh yeah,
I'm horrible. Snowboarding's actually super fun.
Yeah,
I'm just horrible at it. So I roll like halfway down a mountain, but it's super fun actually.
The thing is, like, I'll never get myself to go there, but once I'm there, I'm having the time of my life. And that was the same with jiu-jitsu, where like it was COVID and my buddy already picked up jiu-jitsu. I didn't want to, and so like they shut down all the gyms, and he was like, let me train with you, let me get this training out, you know. And I was like, no man, get the hell out of here, get away from me. And finally, like, he talked me into it. We put the mats in the garage. He whooped my ass for days on end, but I was like, no, that's kind of fun. That's kind of cool. And yeah, I fell in love with it. And
that is something no one talks about. Like the first like 6 months to a year, you're gonna get your ass kicked repeatedly, but there's something fun about it. I don't know.
Humbles the hell out of you.
Enjoy it, yeah.
Well, yeah, you just had your birthday, 23rd?
22nd, last Tuesday. A week ago today, actually, yeah.
So you started around 20 years old. How long you been doing MMA stuff?
I started boxing when I lived in Twin Falls when I was 18. I was 18 when I started boxing. Did that for a couple of years, tore my ACL and had a big knee injury, took a year off. And then actually when I came back here is when I started up doing MMA and stuff. So I started MMA and all that August of 2023 or 4? 2023 August I started. So I've been doing MMA all together for a little over 2 years now.
Dude, that's so crazy. You're at such a high level for how long you've been in it.
It's because of my coach.
How long you been training now?
I've been training on and off since I was like 4 years old. So.
4 years old.
Bro, I wish I could like wrestle or like do taekwondo or like anything from that young. That'd be so sick.
Exactly. That's why I was asking you about your age and like when you started, because I think that's like the best thing you can do is just
imagine the wrestling background and the hip flexibility from taekwondo I'd have right now. My kicks would be insane.
Dude, wasn't I just saying that? It's like the key to being good at jiu-jitsu is do it for a long time.
Yeah.
And how do you do it for a long time? Have a fun time. So you keep coming back. Or start when you're 4 years old. Oh my god!
So my whole family's been into like this whole game for a while, mainly with my dad and my uncle. My dad was basically a second father for my uncle, and he was constantly putting him into different sports. So it started off with like football, and then it transitioned to MMA, kickboxing, and then finally they both found jiu-jitsu. And from then on, my uncle, Michael Estrada, he's been doing it. He's already a black belt now.
Ooh, how long?
Yeah, I was gonna.
I think almost 18,
Oh shit. Okay.
20-ish years, close to that. So
Damn
almost
near for as long as I've been alive.
Yeah, pretty much same here.
That's so crazy.
So he got his black belt through Charles Gracie,
Okay.
and then he opened up an academy in Denair,
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, really?
Strada Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, I think I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Sick.
That's your family.
Yeah, that's my uncle.
Oh.
Yeah,
Do you have siblings?
yeah, just a little sister. She's been in it just as long as me now too.
Oh my gosh, that's so scary.
Yeah.
When's she coming in to kick my butt?
Shoot, whenever she wants, bro. I've been trying to get her. She's only 14 still, so I've been trying to get her in, and telling her there's some girls here that she can spar with.
You got Marab.
What do you think's kept you in jiu-jitsu so long?
Mainly at first it was my parents. I used to fight with my parents. They're like, I don't want to go, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. You know, just the typical kid stuff.
Dang.
Yeah.
And recently, when I went back into it during like I said, I was on and off. But when I went back into it during the pandemic, I found a whole new love for the sport, and then started competing again. And I'm like, oh well, this is all I really know in my life, so I want to make it into something. So that's what I.
Dang,
That's
I'm
why I
like
keep
almost the
loving it.
complete opposite. I'm a first generation in my family. No one's done boxing, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, MMA, nothing. So like, I'm the one like setting out the path.
First generation doing like MMA. My dad did a little wrestling, and my uncle did. I found out he did jiu-jitsu back in the day when it was, you know, like nobody knew about jiu-jitsu. And so when I was talking to him about it, I was like, oh my gosh, like tell me about your experience. And then I found out he did it for like 2 weeks, like 3 weeks, you know. And I'm like, oh,
Free trial guy.
yeah, that doesn't count. No, they kicked my ass real good. I'm like, yeah, they were doing jujitsu to you. You weren't doing jujitsu to them.
So what's made you guys fall in love with the sport?
Like I said, my dad started in wrestling, and when I was a kid, he kind of wanted to get me into wrestling a little bit, but I thought wrestling was dumb. Like I thought it was lame. Like I was like, they just tie up with each other and then let go, and then tie up and let go. It's so stupid. I wanted to find something that was more like, what if I could win from the bottom position? You know, like wrestling, you have to be on top, obviously. And I already thought, I was like, that's a stupid rule. I don't like that. If you just because I'm on bottom doesn't mean I can't win, you know? But I never knew about jujitsu. I just knew that I wanted that type of style. And then years down the road, I happened to find jujitsu. I was like, that's what I was looking for. And so I fell in love with it.
I've always been a fan of the UFC as a little kid, and I've always wanted to do it, watching like Conor McGregor and all those guys growing up. So I've always wanted to do it. And then once I joined Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, I just fell so much in love with actually doing it. Because then as I would watch the UFC and all my favorite fighters, I could like relate to what they were doing. And it wasn't just like a fish out of water to me. It's like, oh, I see what he's doing with that. Now if he goes to here, because I actually know what they're doing now. So it just makes so much more sense and just so much more fun to do and watch and be around and everything.
Yeah, that's always the worst part when like spectators are watching jujitsu because they don't know what
They just
they're
don't know
looking
what's
at,
happening,
you know?
so they call it boring and hugging, and it's like, no, actually, like there's a lot going on you don't know about.
With like gi, like
Mhm.
traditional jiu-jitsu.
Mhm.
That's why it's been. I think that's why it's been going like
Mhm.
phasing out, because now when you see, you know, no gi making it more into the competition era, you know, you see a lot more wrestling. You see a lot more balls to the wall, fast paced, go.
Right.
You know, so I think that's what's becoming.
So you've been training a long time. What's one of the worst injuries that you've seen, like on the mats, including a comp, personally seen, not just online? And or what's one of the worst injuries that you've had?
Okay, so I think one of the worst injuries I've seen during a comp was with one of my old teammates. She had Americana, and she was just cranking it, and the girl going against her was being really stubborn, did not want to tap out. Next thing you know, it just snaps it right then and there. It's an injury that I've had. It wasn't even from jiu-jitsu. I think it kind of stems from football and wrestling, and it's still recurring now. I have a really bad back problem. I have a herniated disc, so
Ooh.
I get times where I can barely even walk.
Oh,
And
that sucks. That's one of the worst ones.
womp womp.
Wah, wah.
Womp womp.
But you know, if you guys have heard this guy Joe Rogan, kind of underground, he talks about the.
Yeah, I think we're
stems-
bigger than him now, right?
Oh yeah, our 3 viewers. What's up? I live for you. But yeah, he always talks about like the stem cells.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he talks about how like a bunch of UFC fighters like live their whole life with that issue, and then they just get the stem cells and changes it. So keep that in mind.
First injury I have seen, I actually haven't seen too many. I think the worst one would be when Hunter went for that inside trip on
Kind of
name,
Fernando.
where you could hear that pop. It sounded like a baseball hitting a bat.
Yeah.
That's probably the worst one I've seen. But the worst one I've ever had was actually here recent. And it wasn't even like a big accident or anything. I came into open mat, went to MMA afterwards, felt good. The next morning, my knee was a little bit sore. Had a Muay Thai fight on that Saturday. So I took Thursday off and just did like a light 2-mile jog. And I couldn't walk afterwards. And it turns out I had a bone spur in my kneecap, a cyst in my PCL, and a small tear in my meniscus. No idea how it happened. Didn't feel any pops or tears. And it was the worst injury I've had in general. It's probably a full thickness tear through my ACL, my meniscus, and my kneecap dislocated. But that was from riding bucking horses, not from MMA and jiu-jitsu.
Okay. I was like, if you had all that
no,
within a couple years of training, I'd be done, dude.
No, really, the only injury I've gotten from jiu-jitsu or anything like that is this one knee injury I just got over.
Yeah.
It really wasn't that bad. I was just out for like a couple months. I'm back.
Because you took care of it.
Yeah, I was being smart about it.
Before we had the mats like this, it was like a different setup, and the mats were touching the glass. And somebody, it wasn't bad. Somebody just ended up taking a back step, and their heel went through the glass. Yeah. And when they pulled their foot back forward, it completely removed the back chunk of their heel. Like this was gone.
Ow.
For the camera. I don't know. Roll. Dude, there was a puddle of blood on the carpet. And, but what was cool, we had a bunch of like, like jiu-jitsu always attracts cops, firefighters, nurses, like EMTs.
That's the other thing I love about jiu-jitsu. That's the one place where you can meet a nerd, an MMA fighter, a cop, and an ex-felon all in the same room, and we're all going to get along fantastic, and you would never know it.
They're all dabbing
That's
each
the one
other
thing
up.
I love about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, so we had a literal like nurse who's been working as a nurse for a long time, and so I turn around to like see the blood, and I turn back around. They already have his heel wrapped up and like bandaged and like everything. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, I only saw that guy once afterwards, and he never came back. He was still pretty new, and that was a gnarly injury. My worst injury, dude, I had a guy who was like an ox, like 350, just built different, like world's strongest guy type thing. It was his first day trying it out,
Oh no.
I was kind of one of the main students at the time. He literally like jumps up, goes sideways, and like body slams me sideways, and I'm on the floor like this.
And his name is John Cena.
And yeah, he lands rib to rib. It was like in the movies when like the person has the shell shock and everything just goes wee, and like you're like coming back and like everything's kind of slow motion. I'm slowly crawling off the mats. And I had a bruised lung for about a month and a half.
Oh my God.
I couldn't breathe out of one of my lungs for about a month and a half. It was, dude, when I got my first like full, like just like both the lungs filled up, like, oh my God, that was the best feeling in the world. So, but yeah, that, and I never went to the doctor. Like they were like, oh, you can have internal bleeding. I'm like,
That'll be good.
We'll be fine. Rub some dirt in it.
yeah, exactly. But yeah,
I'm still here.
we keep coming back.
Yeah.
Keep coming back.
Always, no matter what.
Well, thank you for your time, brother.
Sir, thank you guys.
Love you guys. We need some weird ending. Oh, Jiu-Jitsu os.
Jiu-Jitsu os.
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 Guerilla podcast #1. Let's go.
Let's go.
Number one.
No.